What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Lockdown Defense Sports Network. I'm your host for today's episode, Young RG Robert Garcia, as Coach likes to call me. In today's episode, we are continuing our series going division by division, looking at the remaining free agents, looking to potentially head to the draft class, and seeing what these teams in each of these divisions need. So we're going to dive into the AFC North today. Make sure to stick around for it. Let's get into it. So as I mentioned, we're going to be doing the AFC North today, highlighting what most of these teams need, or what all of these teams need, potential look at some free agents, the draft class, where can they improve on, where can they spend some of this draft capital, some of this financial capital to improve their team now that the bulk of the, highly touted free agent class has now signed. So kicking things off with it. Oh, actually, let me rephrase the AFC North, of course. So we are going to be talking about the Ravens, the Bengals, the Browns, and the Steelers. What is considered to be probably the most grueling division year in and year out, bar none. These teams always, regardless if, they're one of the worst teams in the league or if, one of these teams is a Super Bowl contender, these teams are always playing each other extremely close. And these games between the AFC North opponents are always extremely exciting and a lot of fun to watch as a neutral fan, to say the least. I'm sure AFC North fans, absolutely loathe the other team, but it's fun for a neutral fan of this division, to kind of watch the games in their entireties and see just how physically menacing some of these games are. So we're going to kick right off into it. Like I mentioned, free agency acquisitions. We're going to be talking about the top 3 positions of need for each of these teams and then giving you an ideal free agent or draft pick to slot in. So starting off with the Baltimore Ravens, we are going to be talking about their signings, the re-signings. Of course, the big one, Trey Hendrickson, now might be served a little bit better if we put Max Crosby and then a big X through it and Trey Hendrickson kind of on top of it. But obviously the Max Crosby trade was rescinded by the Ravens, for the better, in my opinion. And of course, they, used that money that they were going to sign Trey Hendrickson. So great signing from them. You get an older option, and in my opinion, not as good of a player. However, you retain those 2 first-round picks, which is worth more than anything. So yeah, I think that was the right move by them. They also signed guard John Simpson and a re-signed quarterback Tyler Huntley, and cornerback Chidobe Awuzie. Also signed the safety Jalen Hawkins. So some pretty good additions here. Now talking about the departures, I'm just now realizing that those are not on here. They had a lot of departures. For, of course, starters Tyler Linderbaum, their star center, who signed that massive contract over in Vegas. Their young up-and-coming tight end Isaiah Likely, who joins his former head coach and John Harbaugh over in New York. And they also let go of Keaton Mitchell, the backup running back behind Derrick Henry. Now, granted, he wasn't seeing so much playing time because it is Derrick Henry, but they do lose him to the Los Angeles Chargers as he signs a 2-year deal over with them. So some pretty big losses, in my opinion, for this Ravens team, which is why I, even further hammer down the point that they were right to hold on to those draft picks, because they lost a lot of pieces and they're going to need to recoup a lot of those pieces come this draft. So taking a look at what their top 3 remaining positions of need are, it's going to be the 3 positions that I mentioned of the departures: the center, the tight end, and the running back. And it's pretty self-explanatory in that regard. Again, I think had they would have traded, had they let that trade go through for Max Crosby, you still need all these positions of need filled, and you don't have the draft capital to do it whatsoever. So obviously you do have a little bit of draft capital to work with now. That first round pick this year, at least, does come back to you. So taking a look at the ideal free agent or draft pick for each of these positions. For the center, I'm going to go with Jake Slaughter. The reason why, and you can obviously notice on this one that there are two draft picks on here. The reason I'm going with Jake Slaughter is because I feel like you'd be able to get him in the third round. So regardless, you were going to have the draft pick available to pick up a starting caliber center, in my opinion. Obviously, the injury concerns or something, but that's why he's going to fall to the third round. So if you can trust in his medicals and you like what you see and you think that he can recover from that injury all well, then I definitely think you need to make a move to get another leader of the quarterback of the offensive line, as the real AG Alex Gibbons likes to say. So yeah, definitely think Jake Slaughter is the move here at center. They're going to need to pick up some center at some point in this draft with the loss of Tyler Linderbaum. So I think Jake Slaughter fits that bill very nicely. As far as tight end, I'm going with another draft pick and somebody that they can use that 14th pick now that they still have over on a tight end, and that is going to be Kenyon Sadiq. I think Sadiq was projected to go in like the early 20s before that combine, and that combine really shot his draft stock up even more. So to see him go at 14 would not be surprised. He may even be gone by 14. I think for the Ravens' sake, you obviously hope he isn't, because that weapon with Lamar would be absolutely incredible to watch. And I think it obviously, you do have Mark Andrews still, but he is on his last legs, probably only going to be playing another year or two. So I think taking a young tight end, a young up-and-coming tight end who's got blazing speed, somebody that Lamar will love to work with, and I think he'll be incorporated into that offense really nicely. As far as the running back, I kind of did a little swap with the Chargers, because the Chargers, like I mentioned, picked up Keaton Mitchell. I think it would be hilarious if the Ravens picked up Najee Harris. And I think it just kind of makes sense. He's a similar running back to Derrick Henry. So, again, guys, when I say similar, I'm not in any way, shape, trying to compare them, but he does have a similar build to the Derrick Henry, and to bring him in for those kind of third and shorts or things like that. I definitely think that they would consider that. You do also want to kind of pick up another speedy running back like Keaton Mitchell that you just lost. So maybe in that regard, they go in a different direction, but I think it's a cheap option, nice cheap option for a backup. And I think he would be a nice backup to Derrick Henry, all things considered. Going over now to the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Cincinnati Bengals, looking at their additions, they, of course, signed Brian Cook, safety from Kansas City, signed the Super Bowl champion edge Boye Mafe, also signed the interior D lineman Jonathan Allen from the Vikings, re-signed their free agent guard Dalton Reisner, great move by them, and also extended their tackle Orlando Brown Jr. So, what are the three positions of need? Shocker for the Bengals, it's all defensive positions, as if the offense needed any more help. Maybe, lineman here or there, but realistically, it's all defense here. Defensive end, cornerback, linebacker. I'm going all different levels here of the defense. The defense is atrocious. It has been for years, pretty much ever since Burrow's been there, except the 1 year where it wasn't, and they went to a Super Bowl. So, are they going to fix it? Probably not. We know how the Bengals operate. We know how cheap ownership is. And I'm really not expecting any of these positions of need to be met. Granted, in the draft, they are going to be forced to address some of these situations. I would expect the Bengals to go nothing but defensive players and defensive talent in this upcoming draft. We shall see what happens. But again, defensive end, cornerback, linebacker. For the defensive end, going with the up-and-coming rookie TJ Parker. This monster out of Clemson, I think, would be just a fantastic fit for them. He terrorized running backs at Clemson, practically lived in the backfield. He is also a playmaker. He forces fumbles. I think he was top 10 in forced fumbles, as well as sacks, tackles for loss. I mean, this guy's just a do-it-all defensive end. I think he brings playmaking ability to this defense, because the number one thing, even if this defense isn't necessarily good, the one thing you can do that will help this team regardless is force turnovers. And if you can get guys that love forcing turnovers and have a great knack for doing it, it's going to just lead to more and more wins for the Bengals, because the more time that offense is on the field, the more chance they're going to be scoring points. And the less time that defense is on the field, the less chance they're going to be giving up big plays. So getting somebody that can really take over in that regard would be huge for them. They are picking 10th, I believe, so they easily are in a position to take him in the draft this year. So I would not be shocked to see them go a defensive end, although if they were able to get TJ Parker, I think it'd be a home run pick for sure. Moving next to the cornerback position, I think Marshawn Lattimore is a great choice for them. I think he's a vet, of course, a older guy coming off of his stint with the Commanders after they traded for him in sort of a win now move. I think he gets a nice reset with a team that's, again, up and coming. He would instantly be the best cornerback on this team upon signing, and I think he just brings that kind of veteran leadership and ability. And that ability that I really think could benefit the Bengals in the long term. They're not looking for, the big stud, young guy on defense, looking for just that reliable, give you valuable snaps, give you valuable time, kind of teach the younger guys in a sense of sort. So I think Marshawn Lattimore, and you'd be able to get him for really cheap as well, fitting, talking about the Bengals. I think it would be a really smart move for them. Similarly, in that cheap category, however, just kind of harping on this veteran presence, veteran leadership more so. I think bringing in Bobby Wagner as a linebacker would be a fantastic move for this team. They just need that identity. They need to get their groove back, as the Emperor once said, and just find themselves on defense once again. If they can just give this offense anything, not be bottom 3 or bottom 5 in the league year in and year out defensively, then they might have a better shot at, winning this division and obviously making the playoffs, something that they failed to do in the last 3 years with Burrow. So Burrow and those receivers, I should say. Yeah, I just think that, it's not the flashiest move, but I really do think Bobby Wagner would just anchor down this defense and give it some much needed oomph that has been lacking in seasons past. And I think Bengals fans, if they were to make this move, should be very happy with it, because I think he can provide a lot without costing too much. Moving over to the team that was in last place in this division last year, we were going with the Cleveland Browns, and they had a ton of re-signings and extensions, of course, or in trades, I should say. Trading for Titus Howard, the offensive lineman from the Texans, ended up extending him later on as well, signing former Chargers guard Zion Johnson in free agency to a massive, I believe it was a 4-year, $16.5 million contract. Young guard at 25 years old, or 26, I want to say, one of those two. So, he gets the big bag in free agency, and, they are hoping that paired with some of these other O-linemen, because they've completely just reinvented this whole O-line. I'll go down the list a little bit more. Also signed Upton Jenkins from the Packers, the 2-time guard Pro Bowler, did play center for a little bit with the Packers, but his best years came at guard, which is most likely where the Browns are going to put him. They also signed Quincy Williams, the linebacker, re-signed another their only offensive lineman that they kept, the other guard, right guard, Tevin Jenkins, signed Jack Stoll, a tight end, and they also released their tackle, Cornelius Lucas. So, taking a look at the Browns here, obviously a complete overhaul of this offensive line, really, just taking a massive cleanup approach to it and trying to just retool it in its entirety. The Browns are, of course, picking 6th this year in the upcoming draft, so another premium draft pick that'll be able to definitely pick up a day 1 starter there. As far as what is their positions of need, the top 3, of course, going to be wide receiver, somebody to pair with Jerry Jeudy. And if Jerry Judy's your number 1 wide receiver, there might be some issues there. But I still think they are looking for another wide receiver to pair with him. A left tackle, of course. We mentioned the release of, I'm going to totally blow his name, so let me go back here, Cornelius Lucas. And then, of course, a defensive end to pair opposite of Myles Garrett, because they did lose Cameron Thomas as well. So, my ideal fit for them for the wide receiver, I think it's pretty easy one, Stephon Diggs. Now, this is a big maybe. However, I think if Stephon Diggs has sort of accepted the fact that maybe he's not going to win a Super Bowl, his best chance might have been last year with the Patriots. If he just wants to retire, or not retire, I should say, but if he just wants to relax a bit, kind of be the number 1 on a team, be that veteran leader that he was in Pittsburgh, that he was in Foxborough. I've got the AFC North on my team, or on my mind. I think he would be a fantastic signing for the Browns. Jesus, what is going on with me? With the Browns, I think for whichever quarterback they decided to throw out there, he would be an instant number 1 target for them. Just that security blanket, along with Harold Fannin. You do obviously have the running game and Quinshon Judkins, so definitely some pieces to work with. I already mentioned Jerry Jeudy on this offense. Should Diggs sign there, and he would instantly, like I said, become the number 1 option, I think can really help the development of a young quarterback, whoever they decide to throw out there, whether it's Shador, whether it's Dylan Gabriel. Maybe they just say, screw it, we're going to draft another guy. we'll see what happens, but I think Stephon Diggs would be a solid signing nonetheless. As far as replacing that left tackle, I think Taylor Decker is a fantastic move, formerly of the Lions, just somebody that they can plug right into left tackle. You've already overhauled this entire offensive line. What's one more new piece here? I think Taylor Decker would be a very solid choice. Obviously, I have Titus Howard. I'm not sure how he would fare at left tackle. I believe he was the right tackle over with the Texans, so we'll see what they do with him, but I think Taylor Decker would be a fantastic signing here for them. And for the defensive end, oh my God, if the Browns somehow got Ruben Bain at 6, I know it's not necessarily realistic. That guy's probably going top 5. However, the Browns absolutely could make a move into the top 5 to pick him up, and it would not shock me one bit if they did after making that trade out of the top 3 last year to give Travis Hunter to the Jaguars. I really do think that it's a move that the Browns are probably considering making, and if they do, holy hell, him with Myles Garrett would be – the Browns might not win a whole lot of games, but that defense would give hell to every single team they played, and I know every team in the AFC North would be I almost cussed, would be crapping their pants if Ruben Bain was lined up opposite of Myles Garrett. That would just be insane. Final team of the video, wrapping it up now in the AFC North, and this was a damn book-long list of additions, extensions, re-signings, releases. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers, so starting off the big trade they made for in this offseason, the former Indianapolis Colt wide receiver 1, Michael Pittman, following that trade, gave him an extension thereafter. I believe it was a 3-year extension, so pairing him, of course, with DK Metcalf. 1 and 2 slots are filled in that wide receiver room, if only they got a quarterback. Also signed Jamel Dean, the cornerback, extended their D lineman Cameron Hayward, signed the running back from the Panthers, Rico Dowdle, which I thought was a fantastic signing there, with the departure of Kenneth Gainwell, of course. They also signed Sebastian Joseph Day, former Charger. Also got the Bears safety, Jaquan Brisker, which was, again, another fantastic signing. Re-signed former Chargers cornerback, Asante Samuel Jr., also re-signed their linebacker, Cole Holcomb. Signed another safety in Darnell Savage, signed a punter, in Cameron Johnston, and their one release was, of course, the tight end, Jonnu Smith. So, looking at the Steelers and this long list of players and just everything there, for the last team we're going to look at the 3 top positions of need. I said that backwards. Top 3 remaining positions of need. Quarterback, shocker, tight end, and left guard. So who do we have to replace these guys, shore up these positions? Shocker, their only option at quarterback at this point is Aaron Rodgers. His quarterback class, like we mentioned, this draft class is extremely weak. They could take a flyer at somebody on a day 2, maybe day 3, day 3, maybe day 2 pick. I really do think it'll be a day 3 pick, though. Just another project guy that they never end up starting and just kind of rides the bench at some point, or, for the entire year. As far as tight end, though, I really do think David Njoku would be a fantastic signing here. Stick it to the other AFC North team and go sign with a rival. And I think the Steelers would love to have him. I think Aaron Rodgers, for all intents and purposes, is probably going to be the quarterback of this team. Would love to have him there. And for the left guard, I went with the draft pick here. I'm going to go with the hometown kid out of Penn State, Olavavega Ione. He is probably a top 2 guard in this class. A lot of people have him as the top guard in this class. It's really him and Emmanuel Pregnon out of Oregon. But I think with the Steelers, they are drafting at 21, right in front of the Chargers. So, man, if he went to them with Pregnon already gone, I might cry. But I think they're in prime position to be able to take him at that point in the draft, and I think it would just really shore up this offensive line, just give more protection to Rodgers. Again, I know he's not officially signed there, but for all intents and purposes, if he doesn't go there, they're screwed at quarterback. So it really doesn't matter what else they do. They truly do, which is insane to say. They truly need Aaron Rodgers to come back with them if they want to compete. So why not just give him some more protection up front? I think it's just a match made in heaven, essentially. Would also open up some amazing running lanes for Rico Dowdle. So I think it's a slam dunk pick if the Steelers go for it, which they should. And so we'll see what happens and how that all plays out. Thank you guys so much for joining me and tuning in. I want to make sure to shout out our Patreon. Exclusive content is getting posted there every week. You also get our YouTube videos early, as well as Ask the Ref segments and other segments as the season starts to come along. You also get our unfiltered hit squad content on there as well. So be sure to check out that Patreon if you want to give it a 7-day free trial that is available to you. Kind of see what we're about and what we post. And if you like it, which I guarantee you will, I absolutely will not. I absolutely recommend that you subscribe for the long haul, because we are going to have some amazing content coming up. Of course, the draft is upcoming next month. We're just under a month away, or excuse me, just a little over a month away. Draft is the week of the 21st in April. We are on the 17th of March. So we're close, man. We're right there. And yeah, you definitely don't want to miss any of that hot content when it drops. Be sure to check out the gang and their socials down below. We have Mike Dub, our Commanders Insider, the Real AG, Alex Gibbons, your Chiefs Insider, and myself, Young RG, Robert Garcia, your Chargers Insider. Be sure to check us out on Instagram and for myself, Twitter. Also, be sure to check out the Lockdown Defense Sports Network across all of our different platforms. We are on X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, and of course, Gmail. Send us in your suggestions, you guys. What do you want to see? What do you want us to cover for each of these teams? This is the free agency offseason period for the NFL. So whatever content you guys want to see, we are happy to put out and happy to make for you guys. So I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.